Yo, what's up? So just want to show you guys really quickly how I draw my support and resistance levels and zones on the time chart. Essentially what we're doing is marking out key levels on the time chart and watching how price interacts with those levels. We're looking for price to either break through them or bounce off of them, and that will tell us a lot about market sentiment and market structure and how we're going to base our trading day. So I like to start on the daily chart. Where I like to draw a lot of my big zones. So you can see here we've got a recent high on the daily, so we will carry this zone through because as we come back up, price will probably interact with this zone. Pretty key level being that it's our recent high, right, overall. You can see I've got this level at the bottom, which is now made our low. This is on the daily chart, but you can see this level was originally a high. That's why it's marked in green. I like to mark all my zones, lows with red and recent highs green, just for my own sake, so I can kind of keep track of what I'm looking at easily. But now that this has kind of turned into our low on the daily, we will change the color of this to red, just so it's a better visual representation. We will adjust the zone a little bit so it more reflects our recent low. Okay, and that's all I'm really going to do on the daily. I might extend this zone out here. You see this was our recent low at the top end of things. Okay, now those are the only 1, 2, 3. That's all I'm going to mark on the daily, okay? I'm trying to get too carried away on the daily. I just want to look at the big points of interest, okay? So then we're going to go to the 15-minute. I like to mark most of my zones on the 15-minute. Definitely a lot of large-scale algorithms that follow the 15-minute very heavily. So now on the 15-minute, you can see we've got, I'll zoom out a little bit. So we've got our big zone down here that we drew on the daily, right? Our recent low. Should probably extend this just, in case price comes crashing back down here. Then we've got our recent high. Okay, and then this was that low that we extended. So you can see this is we were on a big uptrend. This zone we bounced off at 1, 2, 3 times, and then we had a big reversal into a downtrend. So this zone, pretty prominent in my mind. We've also got a recent high. So we'll keep that marked on there. We're just going to extend all of these zones through. We'll extend this zone because you can see here, again, we had some pullback at the top of it. Here, we kind of bounce off of it. We're just going to keep extending all these zones. Another prominent point of interest. We'll mark this. Okay, so there you can see this is how we've got our zones marked up now, okay? So what we're going to be doing is we are going to be looking to play off these zones, okay? So you can see right now, we are forming an uptrend here. Our recent high, we came up, kind of had some resistance at the top of this zone, then we were able to push right up to this zone here, okay? Had some more resistance consolidation, but price crept up here, touched this zone here, and then we had a lot of consolidation up here at the top, and then it just kind of slowly rolled over. But look where we got that pullback. right in this zone, and then it just crashed. Pushed right through this zone, pushed right through this zone. We hit this zone, got some pullback up to this zone, and then it crashed all the way back down to this zone here. Okay? We hung around in this zone for a little bit, right? Price touched it 3 times, which is a very strong sign of a reversal. Okay, so we touched the same zone 3 times, and then we had a big push up. Then we've just kind of slowly been creeping up, kind of consolidating around this level here. And then just recently, we had this big push up through these 2 zones, and oh man. Okay, so we had a big push up through these 2 zones, and then look at we're back into this zone, which was our recent high. And now its price is kind of starting to get chopped out a little bit. Looks like it's starting to consolidate, and it's very possible that this could roll over again and drop, you know. Now if it does roll over, I'd probably be looking for it to push down into either this zone here or in this zone and then turn around. So I don't think we're going to break this uptrend, but just you know, looking at this big push up we had, and then it took it all right back. So there's still a lot of negative pressure in the market, even though we are on an uptrend. So that's what we're going to be watching for. We're going to be watching how price interacts with this zone. If it can break out of it, we will be looking for a push up into this zone. If it rolls over, we'll be waiting for it to consolidate and looking for the short down into this zone. And if we, depending on what we see in the order flow, if price hits this zone and it just blows right through it, then we'll ride the short down to this zone. But if we hit this zone and we start to get some, you know, positive volume coming in, and it looks like the sellers are struggling to break through here, that's where we probably would try to get out. Okay, so I will show you how we're going to actually watch these zones on the footprint chart to kind of get an idea of how price is interacting with these zones. Basically what we're doing is we're marking out levels where buyers and sellers are interested. Okay, so we're marking out areas of liquidity, and we are trying to trade the plays from the areas of high liquidity through the areas of low liquidity. Because areas here where nobody wants to buy or sell, if price can break through here, it'll have no problem pushing right through this area of low liquidity. Because price does not hang out in areas of low liquidity. It wants to push up or down to areas of liquidity. Okay, and what I mean by that is areas or price levels where buyers or sellers are interested. Okay, so there's 2 things that can be happening. One is at a certain price, right? Let's say up here you've got nobody that wants to buy, but you got a bunch of people waiting for this breakdown, and right as soon as it hits this price point, you're gonna have a bunch of buyers stepping in, because that's, you know, that's where they're interested. Now the other side to that, we're talking about aggressive buyers, right? So market orders. But what you can also have is passive buyers in the market, and what I mean by that is limit orders. So you could have limit orders sitting, like let's say, you know, you've got people that want to buy here. They think it's going to come down and then go back up. So you've got tons of limit orders sitting here. So as soon as price comes down, lots of market orders, price being pushed down, pushed down, pushed down. As soon as it hits all these limit orders sitting here, price could, you know, it could start swallowing up these limit orders and push through it. Or the buyers, or sorry, the sellers they'll get exhausted and they won't be able to push through all these limit orders, and it'll end up reversing price, and buyers will step in and take control. So that's what we're doing, is we're marking out these areas of interest or areas of liquidity, and you can see that by how price is interacting with these zones. Okay, so we're marking those out, and then we're watching how price interacts with them. So I will show you right here on the footprint chart. You can see I've got the 1 minute time chart. I've also got the 15 minute behind my big head here. But on the 1 minute, I'm using volume profile. So you can see right here we had a big push up, and this is what I mean. There's low volume. And you see how easily we were able to push through this area of low volume, which is low liquidity. And then look at this price level right here where all this volume came in. So all this volume came in, and we hung out here while we consolidated. And then again, big push down. right through this area of low volume, right? So this area of low volume, price just shot right through it, okay? And then we held this area of high volume. And you can see it consolidated again down here where there is another area of high volume. So what we're doing, right? Let's see, what's this price? 15,450, okay? So let's go back. And what do we got? 15,450, okay? So look at that. Right at the top of this zone, we've got huge volume coming in. Okay? So right at the top of this zone, we've got huge volume coming in, and price is just kind of frozen right now. So we're having a hard time breaking through this level, even with all this volume coming in, right? So we went up, we hit it, we bounced around, pushed it back down, and now look, we've come back up, and we're not able to break through this level here. We're not. So you can see this on the footprint. You can see these support and resistance zones that are being marked by buy and sell imbalances on the footprint chart. Okay, so right here we're in a level of resistance, and price is having a really hard time breaking through this level. You can see all the volume being traded, but they just can't break through it, right? So this would be a really good place to be looking for a short. Okay, really good place to be looking for a short, because buyers are getting exhausted and they just can't break through this level. So even though price is still moving up right now, we just don't, even with all this volume coming in, we just can't push through this level. Okay, so there's a seller sitting here holding this price down, and they don't want it to break through. Now what you've got to remember though is if price pushes down here, consolidates, and then comes back up, you still have to treat this level differently, because price action is in a different place. You've got more buyers stepped in, or sellers are exhausted. Each time price hits one of these levels, you have to watch and see how buyers and sellers interact with that level, and make a decision based off how price is interacting with the level. Don't just think, oh, price is going to go from here to here, and blindly take the trade. Wait till it hits the level. Watch what the volume does. Watch what your delta is doing, and look for big orders or stacked imbalances coming in if you are using a footprint chart. So you can see, look at that. This would have been a great short to take on the scalp. And it would have been a pretty safe play, because if we didn't break this level here with all this consolidation, you see this big wick. So what that means is price shot up and then was just forced right back down, because they couldn't break through. They couldn't break through that level, and it got shot back down. Then it consolidated, and then you see this big push down, and then we came up and we tried again, but we didn't break the recent high. And then look at that, price pushed back down. So I would be waiting for this to consolidate more, and then looking for the short. It could still push through. We got low volume right now. It's not standard trading hours for most people, so not a lot of volume right now. So it could still push through here, but I don't think it will. It's not showing me signs that it will, based off what I'm seeing on the footprint chart. But what I would be looking for is for us to break our recent low here. And until we did that, until we broke this recent low, I wouldn't be looking for the short. So that's how I draw my support and resistance zones, and that's how I use order flow to trade them. You always want to try to make sure that you're looking at multiple confluences before you take any trades. Whether it's support and resistance levels with order flow, but you also want to be looking at general market sentiment. Is the market in an uptrend or a downtrend? Is the market bullish or is the market bearish? Is there any news that you don't know about? You want to know all of these things. So if your strategy is based around support and resistance, don't just trade off that, okay? You need more, but they give you a pretty good idea of how to structure your trades and what kind of moves you can be looking for. It's really just a way of structuring the market to give you a visual representation of where volume is being traded, more or less. But anyways, that's a wrap. Hope you guys have the best luck. And until next time, peace out.